This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, a deadly double stabbing shocks an upscale neighborhood in Laverne tonight. An elderly couple is dead, and the search is on for a killer.
Christmas Day takes a dark twist in Compton, where a woman is shot while celebrating the holiday with her family.
Strong winds knock down trees, and we are seeing chilly temperatures. Jonathan Novak tells us how long these conditions will last. Good evening, I'm David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. We begin with that breaking news: an elderly couple stabbed to death in Laverne. A woman died earlier today. Her husband passed away about an hour ago. Witnesses say that suspect just walked away from the gruesome scene along the 300 block of Rough Rider Road. Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan spoke to neighbors shaken up by the holiday horror.
Sheriff's investigators have been out here for almost 5 hours, and they don't appear to be leaving the scene anytime soon. 2 people were stabbed here this afternoon. Stunning news to people who live here.
Just what you see is what it is. In a very quiet neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody.
In fact, a lot of people we spoke with say they saw who they think is the suspect walking away.
I was just riding my skateboard down the hill, and just the guy waved at me and I waved back, and I didn't really think of anything.
And he just looked out of place. He didn't look like a backpacker or a camper. He looked maybe like he was homeless, and I thought, well, maybe he just wanted somewhere to go for a night or two, so I didn't call.
We don't know the identity of the 2 victims. The home is registered to Troy and Shirley Isom. This man says he's a family member of the Isoms, but he declined to speak with us. Most people up here told us they know the couple.
Very nice people, yeah. They lived up here for quite a while.
Still, this neighbor, like many others, is on edge, with a suspect still on the loose.
I think what I'll do, like Troy told my wife that he had a shotgun loaded sitting by the front door. I think I'll load mine.
If there is a guy who's coming down and looking from house to house with all of our grandkids, 5 of them, and the families, and he comes up the hill, we've got a real major problem. So that's a concern.
Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
That suspect is described as a Hispanic male between 25 to 30 years old, between 5'7" and 5'11" tall, about 160 pounds. He was last seen in a green or orange hoodie with a green or red backpack. And anyone with information is urged to call the LA County Sheriff's Homicide Bureau at 323-890-5500.
A woman was shot and wounded by police in the Hollywood and Highland parking structure. Police say 47-year-old Diamond Vargas was fighting with another woman when she started waving a bat. Then police say she pulled out a gun and pointed it at an officer. The officer opened fire, wounding Vargas in the leg. Vargas was treated and then booked on a charge of assault with a deadly weapon against a police officer.
A tragedy in Compton where a woman was shot to death while celebrating Christmas with her family. It happened on the 1400 block of 154th Street last night. Eyewitness News reporter Leo Stallworth spoke with detectives who are still searching for a suspect.
Detectives say a gunman walked up to this home after 7:30 Christmas night and fired multiple rounds into the residence. A bullet struck a woman inside, killing her. It happened in the 1400 block of West 154th Street in Compton. Detectives say the victim was visiting her mother from out of state when she was murdered.
It's apparent that the shooting happened from outside the location due to the shell casings. And we don't have any suspect information at this time.
Detectives say they are stumped for clues why someone opened fire, leaving at least a half a dozen bullet holes in the home. Was this house targeted?
We don't know at this time. Investigators are still out there trying to figure out, talk to anybody that might have any information.
Alicia Gomez says she was in the home next door when the gunfire rang out. She says she heard somewhere around 6 gunshots and it was scary. Gang-related.
Again, don't know. We know the victim definitely was not in the gang. She's from out of state, but don't know why this house was shot at.
Christmas Day. This woman's murdered, visiting her mother.
Yeah, it's a tragic situation. Anybody with any information, even if they just heard something, if they can contact the LA County Sheriff's Department.
If you can help detectives solve this murder, they want to hear from you. There is a phone number on your screen. It is to LA Regional Crime Stoppers. 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. At the Sheriff's Headquarters Bureau in Monterey Park, Leo Stallworth, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Another big story, the wicked wind. It was a windy Christmas across much of Southern California with more of the same today. Take a look at a couple of pictures sent in to us by Eyewitness News viewers. Here's a tree presumably toppled by the wind in South Los Angeles and another downed in Pacoima. So how long will these winds last, and will it stay cold? Meteorologist Jonathan Novak is here with the answer.
Cold, yes. The winds, though, have backed off significantly. Compared to the Christmas Eve, it was just really gusting overnight, Christmas Eve and Christmas. It looks like things have calmed down quite a bit. 14 miles an hour is the most I could find right now. Van Nuys, in the valleys at least, Long Beach, calm. So a lot of places have really calmed down. Doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. We actually have another night, one more night of some breezy conditions and, yes, very cold. Look at the temperatures already, 21 right now. Big Bear. Wow. 57 Palm Springs. A lot of 50s, lower mid-50s to go around. 49 Ojai. So the wind advisory is still in place. This is not a high wind warning. This is a wind advisory. We're looking for winds about 15 to 25, gusting to 35 for most of the area through tomorrow morning into the early afternoon, and then the winds will wane, and a hard freeze warning for the inland portions of Ventura County and the valley areas. We'll talk about how long the cold weather lasts in the next storm system in the 7-day.
All right, Jonathan, we'll see you then.
Okay.
Cowabunga Santa Claus. Check out how good old St. Nick's taking it today, taking it very well. A deserved break today on the slopes at Mountain High, of course. He got some really cool tricks at the resort, says the conditions, because they are very good. And snowmaking is underway on the slopes just in time for the weekend. Wow. They've added 6 inches of new powder to the already packed 8 to 18-inch base in just the last 24 hours.
Santa's got some skills.
Wow, yeah.
You can get weather information anytime, anywhere, thanks to the free ABC7 Mega Doppler app. Use the interactive radar or check out the 7-day forecast from your smartphone or tablet. You can download it for free from the App Store or Google Play.
A statewide Be on the Lookout bulletin, or BOLO, has been issued for an inmate who escaped a Northern California jail. 23-year-old Freddie Swanson escaped Christmas Day. He climbed up a ventilation duct and punched out a window. Swanson was arrested last week in Monterey County after a hit-and-run crash and a high-speed chase. He also faces narcotics and firearm charges. Swanson is considered armed and dangerous.
A somber tribute to a fallen officer. In New York City, law enforcement officers and city officials gathered to pay respects to one of the 2 police officers killed in a daylight ambush last weekend. ABC's David Wright has more.
The casket of Officer Rafael Ramos draped in the green, white, and blue flag of the NYPD. 8 pallbearers hoisted it high, shoulder level, for one final silent salute. In ancient Rome, this is how they carried Julius Caesar. Tomorrow, they'll be here from Philadelphia, San Francisco, Boston, and elsewhere. 25,000 policemen expected. This contingent arrived today from LA.
Something happens to one, it happens to all of us, and that's why we're here.
Nearly 700 police officers arriving already, courtesy of free flights offered by JetBlue. The NYPD says it's investigating about 40 new threats against the police this week, at least 7 arrests. One man overheard in a bank allegedly saying they should have killed 2 white cops. At his house, police found several guns and a set of brass knuckles. Many rank-and-file officers blame New York's mayor for stoking public anger at police tactics. Today, this banner flew past the mayor's house. De Blasio, our backs have turned to you.
How do you think the mayor will be received at this funeral?
That there won't be any disrespect.
Nobody will turn their back.
I don't believe that will happen, and in fact, I would encourage every NYPD officer to not do that.
That was David Wright reporting. Vice President Joe Biden is scheduled to attend Officer Ramos' funeral tomorrow.
A contingent of officers from the LAPD and the LA Police Protective League arrived in New York City today to pay their respects to the fallen officers.
We're brothers and sisters in law enforcement. We support each other no matter what part of the country that we're in. We're here to support the officers and to show New York Police Department that we stand with them.
Members of the LAPD say they are grateful for the opportunity to honor Officers Ramos and Liu.
Today marks the 10-year anniversary of one of modern history's worst natural disasters, the Indian Ocean tsunami that claimed nearly 250,000 lives in a dozen different countries. The 2004 tsunami was triggered by a magnitude 9.1 earthquake. A wall of water reached up to 33 feet high. It surged inland for miles. More than 170,000 people died in Indonesia alone. In Thailand, about half of the dead were foreign tourists, mostly Europeans there to enjoy the beaches and the warm weather.
Former President George H.W. Bush is spending a fourth night in a Texas hospital. The 90-year-old was admitted to Houston's Methodist Hospital on Tuesday after experiencing shortness of breath. A family spokesman says the former president is in high spirits and continues to make progress. Bush is the oldest living former American president. He suffers from a form of Parkinson's disease that has forced him to rely on a motorized scooter in recent years.
2015 is still a few days away, but it appears Republican Jeb Bush may be setting his sights in 2016. Tenet Healthcare Corporation says Jeb Bush is stepping down from its board of directors at the end of the year, a seat he's held since 2007. The former Florida governor is believed to be unloading some of his business commitments to actively explore a presidential run in 2016. Bush is also leaving his advisory role with the British banking giant Barclays.
Russian leaders can forget about going away over the new year. President Vladimir Putin has canceled holiday vacations for members of his cabinet. Putin says the government cannot afford to take vacations right now since Russia's economy has been hard hit by falling oil prices and Western sanctions. Putin made that announcement on Christmas Day, but Christmas is actually celebrated in Russia on January 7th, the traditional date on the Eastern Orthodox Church.
Ahead of Eyewitness News today, Doug follows 15 stories and survives, and we'll tell you how the pup was able to survive that fall.
Plus, we're hearing from a teen who was attacked by a bear and survived what she did that probably saved her life.
Then it's that time of year when we all think about losing weight, but are supplements the answer? The word of warning you need to hear coming up.
A teenager in Florida is recovering after a bear mauled her while she was walking her dog earlier this week. She's speaking out for the first time about the terrifying ordeal and what she says saved her life.
I was down on the ground and it was on my back biting me. I realized that nobody was going to come because nobody could hear me.
15-year-old Lee Reeder says she tried to play dead, but the bear kept attacking her. That's when her dog Ralph, a 25-pound Springer Spaniel, jumped into action.
She seen him dragging me, and he was freaking out, barking, and then he started running up, and the bear lost its grip and fell in the ditch.
Leah somehow managed to walk home, where her parents called an ambulance. She needed hundreds of stitches on her neck, head, and arms. Wildlife officials say they killed the bear believed to have attacked Leah. One expert seen here with his trained grizzly bear named Bart says if you ever encounter a bear, do not try to run. Get on your stomach and cover your face and neck.
Every dog has his day, but for this pooch, it just wasn't his. A partially blind dog tumbled off the balcony of a condo in Sacramento. Miraculously, the 13-year-old Boston Terrier named Sam survived the 15-story fall. He suffered 5 broken ribs and fractures to his pelvis. He was found doggy paddling in the hot tub. Sam's owner says a pup surviving the fall is his Christmas miracle.
It really is a miracle. How heartbreaking, but at least he's on the mend.
Love that. Love that stuff.
Me too. Well, let's talk about colder weather.
You know, just to make note, I've had my diet after this Christmas. I've had so many sweets. This is a cup, and it was filled with cookies. That's when you know things are bad, folks.
And
when you have a cup of cookies, you hit rock bottom. Okay, let's talk about the weather. It's going to be cold. Can you handle the 30s for highs in the mountains, guys?
With cookies.
With cookies you can. With cookies you can handle anything. A cup of cookies solves not really much, actually. All right, highs today in LA, 63. Normally we're at 68, so it was a cool day in downtown. 43 was our low. Normally we're at 47, so even the lows were below average. 56 right now at LAX. We got 2 things to talk about mainly, at least for the next couple of days, the temperatures and the winds. The winds have started backing off, but only temporarily, and for tonight. Into tomorrow, we're going to see them pick back up. Big Bear, 23 degrees right now. The winds out of the north-northeast, 9 miles an hour. And other temperatures around the area. Fraser Park's at 33, Wrightwood 24, Fullerton 53 at the coast. We're pretty much at 53 to 56 from Oxnard to Santa Monica. Cold evening. Wind advisories in place for tomorrow through 3 p.m. for the whole area. We'll see winds generally about 15 to 25, gusting to maybe 35 in the mountain areas, maybe up to about 40. And on top of that, we have a hard freeze warning for the inland portions, the wind-sheltered valley locations inland Ventura County. That means temperatures 28 or below for a couple of hours, so it's going to be a very frigid evening for those portions of Ventura County. So cold and windy. We got high pressure in place off to the west of us, and around it we see those winds coming up from the northeast. It's a cold wind that's come through after that front that blew through earlier this week for Christmas Eve. Now, the future wind shows that again tonight overnight, the winds do pick up a little bit. This is 5 a.m., and you see the green to slightly blue shading here. That's about 30, 35 miles an hour at the top end, and then picking up a little bit later on into the morning time, and then backing off by Saturday afternoon. You see at 6 p.m., nothing showing up. And that will be the last of the winds, and then we look forward to what will be a potentially strong system next week. Big Bear, 8 degrees. San Bernardino, add 30 to it. You got your low tomorrow, 38. So cold extremely cold in the mountains. 8 degrees. Aye. 62 Northridge tomorrow for a high. 64 in Los Angeles. We're topping out in Big Bear around 35 and 64 Irvine. 70 forecast, LA Metro and Orange County, powered up by AccuWeather. Breezy day tomorrow for the first half of the day. The winds back off. Temperatures in the mid to lower 60s the next couple of days. But check this out. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the clouds roll in. We have a chance of rain right now, 30% with highs only in the upper 50s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday night. We're going to have to watch this system. The timing might be a little iffy for New Year's. We'll watch for it. It looks like 30% chance of showers right now for valleys. The valleys, i.e., going into Tuesday, Wednesday. Highs only in the mid-50s. Most of the moisture looks like it's going to stay to the east as of now, but if it moves to the west a little bit, we raise these percentages over the next few days. For now, 20 to 30% for Tuesday, Wednesday for the beaches. The weekend looks good, though. The mountains, 35 for a high tomorrow, 39 on Sunday, into the 40s barely on Monday. Cold after that, only 25 for a high on Wednesday, guys, and the high desert looking cool, cloudy heading into Monday on. So watch the system for you. Could be for New Year's. It might be a little bit wet. We're a few days away, though, so things change.
Okay. All right. That's trouble, though. Okay. Thanks. A warning tonight from California health officials: don't eat store-bought caramel apples. The State Department of Public Health specifically called out one brand, a Missouri-based Happy Apple Company. The company announced yesterday that one of its suppliers may be connected to the recent outbreak that's linked to 3 deaths and 29 illnesses across the country. The FDA is also continuing to warn consumers to avoid any pre-packaged caramel apples.
If your New Year's resolution is to lose weight, stay away from pills and supplements that promise to make it easy to shed the pounds.
Experts with Consumer Reports caution certain weight loss supplements may not only be useless, but they could be harmful. Health specialist Denise Sador with what you need to know before you buy one.
Store shelves are packed with weight loss supplements promising to help you drop pounds, lose inches, and burn fat fast. There are tablets and gummies and chewies and capsules containing ingredients like green coffee beans, green tea, raspberry ketones, and Garcinia cambogia. A new Consumer Reports survey of about 3,000 Americans shows 1 in 4 has used weight loss supplements, but that same survey found more than 90% couldn't lose the weight they wanted and keep it off. And about half reported at least one side effect, like a faster heart rate, jitters, and digestive problems. Consumer Reports also says don't equate natural with safe. For example, yohimbe, an African tree bark extract marketed as a weight loss supplement, may cause elevated blood pressure or panic attacks.
There's no supplement out there with enough evidence to show that it's going to help you lose weight. And some unethical manufacturers even add banned prescription drugs to supplements.
In fact, hundreds of weight loss supplements have been recalled by the FDA that contain drugs rarely listed on labels, linked to things like heart risk, severe hepatitis, liver failure, and even death.
The short answer is don't take weight loss supplements. They're unregulated, they don't really work, and they could very well hurt you.
Instead, stick to the tried and true. Your biggest allies in the battle of the bulge are still diet and exercise.
Consumer Reports says to lose weight successfully, practice portion control. Eat more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and reduce your sugar intake. Another tip, eat more meals at home. That gives you some control over the calories you take in. In the newsroom, Denise Tador, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And taking a few extra seconds to make food choices may help to keep some of the holiday weight off. That's according to researchers at Caltech in Pasadena. They found that most people register how tasty something is before they process how healthy it is. So if someone chooses quickly, it's likely to be based solely on taste. They say waiting a few extra seconds to select the food allows the health implications to have more influence.
All right. Be patient then, I guess.
Yes.
Tesla Motors says it's making improvements to its older Roadster model.
Still to come, we're going to tell you what kind of changes the California-based company is making.
And for many, watching A Christmas Story is a holiday must. Some people are taking it a step further and hoping to sleep in the home made famous by this movie. How much they're willing to pay, coming up.
The popular ride-sharing company Uber finds itself head-on in a legal battle. A lawsuit filed today in San Francisco claims Uber drivers have been denying rides to blind passengers with guide dogs on more than 30 instances. Uber says it wasn't responsible for independently contracted drivers who aren't company employees. But the Obama administration said this week companies like Uber cannot contract away obligations under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Tesla Motors says it is making improvements to its older Roadster model that will let the electric car travel about 400 miles on a single charge. The California-based company says a new battery and other improvements like new tires will boost the car's range and plans a demonstration with a drive from San Francisco to LA early next year. Tesla stopped making Roadsters in 2012 and says it hopes to make similar enhancements to its Model S at some point in the future.
It's a record drivers hope will never end. The Auto Club says gas prices nationwide have now fallen for 92 straight days. That is something that has never happened before. Prices are now at their lowest level since May of 2009. If you're filling up in Los Angeles, you will pay an average of $2.72 a gallon. That's down 40 cents a gallon in just the past month and about 94 cents a gallon from 1 year ago. And if you're traveling over the holidays, you'll be able to fill up for under $2 a gallon in several states.
It's a holiday tradition for a lot of families watching A Christmas Story on TV. One couple got to live in it, spending a night in the actual Christmas Story house. Now, for those who don't know, Christmas Story is a beloved comedy about a kid named Ralphie and his quest for a Red Ryder BB gun. It didn't do very well when it came out in 1983, but it's become a classic. Fragile, Chinese turkey, you'll shoot your eye out. In fact, two different stations were running a Christmas Story marathon yesterday. It was shot in Cleveland, and Ralphie's house is now a Christmas Story museum. A husband and wife, fans of the movie, bid $5,800 to spend one night there.
We could actually sleep in Randy and Ralphie's bed if we wanted to. Being here and actually getting to experience it is a dream come true.
And naturally, they plan to spend the night recreating some of the memorable scenes for the movie. The money they bid, by the way, goes to help with the upkeep of the Cleveland neighborhood where the Christmas Story house is located.
What fun.
That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that.
Everybody does.
Yeah, I can't beat it.
Well, we are updating the evening's top stories next at 7:30, including the search for a suspect accused of stabbing two people in Laverne.
And the movie may be out, but the hackers aren't backing down what they're now targeting as people try to watch the interview at home.
From a headshot to a mugshot, a Hollywood actor is arrested in the Midwest. Find out what landed him behind bars coming up on Eyewitness News.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Our top story at 7:30, breaking news: an elderly couple murdered in an upscale neighborhood in Laverne. I'm Colleen Sullivan.
And I'm David Dona. This is Eyewitness News on LA56, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. Officers are now saying the victim suffered blunt force trauma at the home along the 300 block of Rough Rider Road before 1:30 this afternoon. A 74-year-old female victim was found dead at the scene. Her 89-year-old husband died later at the hospital. Eyewitnesses believe they saw the suspect, an Hispanic man between 25 and 30 years old, 5'7" to 5'11", 160 pounds, wearing a hoodie and a backpack, just walking away from the scene.
It's been a windy couple of days across much of Southern California, with gusts strong enough to cause some serious problems, mostly in the form of downed trees and power lines. In downtown Los Angeles today, crews were cutting away a tree that hit a power line as well as an SUV. The driver wasn't hurt and eventually managed to drive away, but the car is in pretty bad shape. And a huge tree that fell in Sherman Oaks on Christmas was still blocking traffic today. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak is here to tell us if we'll see any more of these high winds and cooler weather. Jonathan?
Yeah, calling cooler weather for sure. I call it cold weather. Temperatures like this, Big Bear 23. And highs in the forecast for you, 30s. So it's going to be a cold forecast ahead. The winds, though, not as bad as yesterday morning. Today it was breezy, but by no means the 70, 80 mile an hour wind gusts we had on Christmas morning. But we're still seeing some breezes around Van Nuys, 14 miles an hour, 51's your current temperature. It's going to be a cold overnight, where we have a hard freeze warning in the inland portions of Ventura County for the wind-sheltered valleys. Now, for the wind advisory, that's in effect through tomorrow at 3 p.m., so still a breezy day ahead for at least the first half of Saturday, and then things will calm down. By the way, that hard freeze warning, again, is for the inland portions, and that goes through tomorrow morning, and then things will be a little bit better as we go in through Sunday. But for the day planner tomorrow, you're going to wake up to about the lower to mid-40s, a cool, breezy morning, 64 by 1, and a storm system on the way in your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
Jonathan, thank you. A Santa Maria man is behind bars, arrested for the murder of his mother over the summer in La Habra. The body of 58-year-old Emma Posadas Espinosa was found by a man walking his dog back on July 21st, covered in leaves and plants behind a carport on South Idaho Street. An autopsy found she died of asphyxiation. Today, her 29-year-old son, Gabriel Antonio Espinosa, was charged with a special circumstances allegation of murder for financial gain. That makes him eligible for the death penalty if convicted.
A special Christmas this week for a young mother hospitalized with a rare condition. 19-year-old Yasmin Castaneda took a friend's antibiotic on Thanksgiving and had a severe reaction that essentially burned her from the inside out. She hasn't been able to hold her baby girl since then, but on Christmas, the two are reunited, and Yasmin's mother says the baby immediately recognized her mom. Yasmin is up and walking again and in less pain. Her mother says she's just trying to get better so she can go home.
A victory of sorts for The Interview, the movie that started an international hacking scandal. The numbers are in, and fans are sending a message. The movie is a smash hit at the box office. However, hackers are hitting back, accused of disrupting the film's availability online and on demand. ABC's Brandy Hitt has more.
Oh my God! What the heck just happened?
Tonight, a comeback for The Interview, the controversial comedy grossing more than $1 million at the box office Christmas Day. The film's star and co-director Seth Rogen surprising audiences in Los Angeles.
There was a real chance that this just wasn't going to happen.
Sony first pulled The Interview less than a week ago after hackers threatened to carry out 9/11-style attacks on theaters, then backpedaled, releasing the film.
This is what you do to haters. You just smile.
Now, another blow to Sony, shutting down those online venues, including Sony's PlayStation and Microsoft's Xbox Live on Christmas Day. A different hacking group, Lizard Squad, is claiming responsibility. As for North Korea, which the FBI blames for the original Sony hack, not all cybersecurity experts are convinced.
There are even a lot of people on our team that are somewhat skeptical that it was actually the North Koreans in that case.
Still, moviegoers are sending strong messages in New York.
We cannot allow dictators or fundamentalists to tell us what media we consume.
Los Angeles.
We're Americans. No one tells us what to do.
And Atlanta, where God Bless America turned into a Christmas anthem.
That was Brandy Hitt reporting. With its limited release, the interview ranked 15th at the box office on opening day.
Actor Dustin Diamond charged with a felony for allegedly stabbing a man at a Wisconsin bar. The 37-year-old, best known for his role as Screech in the 1990s TV show Saved by the Bell, appeared in court today north of Milwaukee. Police say he was out at a bar on Christmas with his fiancée when they got into an argument with two men. According to the criminal complaint, Diamond stabbed one of them in the armpit with a switchblade knife. Diamond claims it was an accident and that he was just trying to protect his fiancée. That man was not seriously injured.
And they're off. Post-holiday shoppers are hitting stores and malls today to cash in on bargains. The day after Christmas has seen packed stores nationwide with people looking for deals, spending gift cards, and, of course, returning and exchanging those unwanted gifts. That is, if you could brave the line.
I got the wrong briefcase for my husband, so I'm going to exchange that. And I'm just going to actually exchange most things. I'm not going to return.
I return nothing. No, that's the longest line today, to be sure.
But buyers beware. Having a receipt is also a must this season. The National Retail Federation says retailers are cracking down on fraudulent returns that are expected to amount to $3.8 billion in loss for retailers this season alone.
In just days, all eyes will be on the New Year's Day Rose Parade, and tonight decorators are working furiously to make sure every piece is in place. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter shows us a sneak peek of all the excitement.
Let the decorating begin. Hundreds of volunteers start creating dozens of magical floats for the 126th Rose Parade.
My brother and I started just one of these little tiny trees. It took us 4 hours to finish. Came back from lunch just to do another one.
Now, much of the groundwork begins with tedious tasks, building a foundation for those fantastic flowers.
I hold it and she puts the rice on, so.
I think it's cool that at the end of the day when it's done I can look at it and say I was a part of it.
Nearly 2,000 volunteers will be helping Fiesta Parade Floats in Irwindale build 39 floats for the parade, including Dole's sweepstakes winner the last 4 years straight. And there's this ABC Classic this year as The Bachelor gets to ride down Colorado Boulevard in style. But before the flowers comes the foundation.
Interesting day because it's all dry decorating for the most part. It's dry materials. You can't put the flowers on too early, obviously. So today's spent putting on lots of things like straw flower and the seeds.
At Fiesta, they'll use between 30,000 to 50,000 flowers, ranging from roses to orchids and everything in between. Everything on the float organic, all put on with pride.
When you watch the parade, actually live or on the TV, it's like, oh, I helped there. But we love it.
But before that can happen, there is a lot of work to get done to make sure these floats are ready for their close-up. All of it must be finished by the 31st for judging, and of course by January 1st for the big parade. In Irwindale, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
He's on the road to recovery.
An abused carriage horse is walking tall thanks to the efforts of a Chino Hills rescue.
And call it a new pastime, that's a real blast. We're going to show you how rocket skates work when Eyewitness News returns.
The holiday season is wrapping up, but we are still enjoying all of the holiday pictures you've been sharing with us. For weeks, you sent us pictures of you, your kids, even your pets celebrating the spirit of the season, and we want to thank you for sharing your holidays with us and welcome you to our circle of eyewitnesses.
It's a white day after Christmas at Kids Space in Pasadena. The Children's Museum has been transformed into a winter wonderland. Kids have a chance to play in the snow as well as enjoy live performances and try out snow-themed art and science projects. It's open every day between 9:30 to 5 from now until December 30th.
He was abused, overworked, and trotting towards death, but now a horse named Olaf the Giant is getting a new lease on life thanks to some caring hearts.
Eyewitness News reporter Jory Rand shows us how a local animal rescue group led the charge to help save him.
Meet Olaf the Giant.
He is one of the coolest guys around.
Olaf is doing great now, but it wasn't too long ago that wasn't the case.
He was crippled, he could barely move, he was in a lot of pain.
His owners, no longer having any use for him, simply stopped feeding him and put him up for auction.
The only people who were bidding on him were the kill buyers.
Destined for slaughter, Olaf found a savior in a young woman named Katie who saw Olaf, emptied her bank account to buy him, and began nursing him back to health. Part of that process was bringing him here to the Red Bucket Equine Rescue.
She rescued him, and then she asked us to do the rest. And so he's here, and he's gained an additional 300 pounds, and he's doing great. We're glad to have him.
Olaf is by far the largest horse here at Red Bucket and may get the most attention, but he's far from the only one. Right now, Red Bucket has over 100 horses on hand that have been rescued, and even one blind in one eye donkey named Joey.
We get horses in who have been used to bait dogs for dog fights, who have been starved intentionally, and then we dig them out of the riverbeds.
Red Bucket recently placed their 157th horse, but they still have to turn down between 50 and 100 horses per week. It's not from a lack of effort from their team of dedicated volunteers.
I probably put in 60 to 70 hours a week.
And what's your salary for those hours?
Zip.
And you can help Red Bucket as well. Right now, their 2015 budget is only covered through February, and with Olaf here, they're going to need a lot of hay. For ways to donate, simply head to our website, ABC7.com. In Chino Hills, Jory Rand, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Beautiful horse.
Yeah.
Wish him the best. Coming up at Eyewitness News, take a ride on a pair of rocket skates. We'll tell you about an LA man's new invention.
Plus a happy reunion for a woman who had her car stolen back. She has it back after almost 30 years. How she got it back, that's coming up.
And coming up in sports, find out what cut short the promising career of a quarterback just days shy of his bowl game.
The week-long Festival of Kwanzaa kicked off today along Crenshaw Boulevard with the 38th annual Kwanzaa Parade. This year's theme was Perfect Your Temple, but it also served as a sort of demonstration with many of the floats featuring signs condemning police brutality. The 7-day festival was created back in 1966, celebrating African cultural heritage as a way to create social change.
One lucky group of boaters has a whale of a tale to tell today. Take a look at this. A pod of killer whales were spotted off the coast of Long Beach. Whale watching on LA.com sent us this video of the circus, of the orcas swimming up to the high-speed catamaran to say hello to those on board. They tell us it's the 4th year in a row that they've spotted orcas off of Long Beach during the last week of the year. And another rare sight, this time in the sky over Southern California. Our camera here in Glendale caught the International Space Station passing in front of the moon. Did you see it?
Yep.
It zapped on by at 6:31 p.m. from right to left on your screen. Here it is again, moving pretty fast. If you have a camera, you got to click, click, click right now. You'll get another chance to see the space station tomorrow, but not near the moon.
See, now,
that was cool.
I heard rumors that it might have been Santa making a return trip. Just to say hi.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I heard that. I don't know.
Checking over his handiwork, maybe.
Because it's just great here. This is the weather.
He's moving pretty quickly.
I don't know. I mean,
cold though.
It's cold, but not for him. He's used to that. So, just hearing things, you know, about through the grapevine. Speaking of which, the grapevine was breezy on the grapevine.
Yeah.
It was over the last couple of days. Winds today, though, backed off a little bit. All right, 63 was our high in downtown, below the normal of 68. Low is 43, below the normal of 47. So cold temperatures, it's going to stay that way for the long haul. So get used to it. Hey, it's winter. We need it. We like the cold weather. It means snow potentially with a couple systems. Well, one system rolling through next week for a couple of days. 55 in downtown, calm winds right now. Big Bear's 23, 10 miles an hour for the winds. That doesn't help when it's 23 and you got a wind of 10 blowing through. That makes it feel like it's in the teens. 24 in Wrightwood at the moment, 51 in Burbank and Van Nuys. Fraser Park, 33. So we've got this area high pressure off to the west, and it's giving us those northeast winds that are flowing down. It's a cold wind, and it's going to stay cold throughout the 7-day. I want you to remember that. The winds are going to back off. What we're really going to start looking ahead to is a system next week. Until then, it's kind of status quo for tomorrow, all right? Temperatures are going to be on the cold side, and the wind advisory is still in place. That means winds about 15 to 25, gusting up to about 35, a lot like today, at least the second half of today. And then on top of that, and this is going to be the end of the hard freezes, the potential for a hard freeze up there, the warning actually, up in the inland areas of Ventura County for the wind-sheltered areas. What does that mean? It means temperatures about 25 to 28 degrees for a period of 2 hours or more. So that's when you want to wrap the pipes, take care of the plants, pets, people, and all that for the morning time. It's going to be a cold one. Future wind forecast tomorrow morning, gusting up the mountains about 35, maybe 40. Winds making their way down after 5 a.m. to the coast and around Santa Clarita to Oxnard through about noon. And then watch that go away in the afternoon by 6 p.m. Things are much calmer. The wind's not so much of an issue. And Sunday looks like a transition day as we look forward to the next storm system on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So for tonight, though, breezy and cold. Winds north-northeast 15 to 25. That's not a typo, by the way, guys. In the mountains, Big Bear, 8 for a morning low. 64 for a high in Los Angeles. Big Bear will top out around 35 tomorrow. 64 Irvine, 70 forecast. LA Metro and Orange County. Tomorrow, a little breezy in the first half of the day, cool in the afternoon. Sunday's a nice one, 63 for a high, and then we got clouds and a chance of rain Tuesday, Wednesday, and colder weather. Right now, not a huge chance. The system looks like it'll stay a little bit to the east, just enough where the chance is only 30%. That could change. Valleys, IE, same for you. Mid-50s, chance of rain next Tuesday, Wednesday. Until then, not bad at all. Beaches, looking for sunny and cool weather tomorrow. And then a 20% chance on Tuesday, 30% for a chance of rain on Wednesday. Mountains, 35 for a high tomorrow, 39 on Sunday. And then you got a chance of snow on Tuesday and Wednesday in the high desert. Looks like a cool one for you. Chance of showers as well. Then we're looking forward to that next system. Could be an issue for New Year's. We'll keep an eye on it.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
The Mamba has played 19 seasons, nearly 1,300 games, but Father Time isn't impressed by the numbers. For the third straight game, Kobe's sore Achilles, legs, back, and feet kept him out of the Lakers lineup tonight. Kobe is eyeing a Sunday return against the Suns, and without him, the Lakers could do little to slow down Rajon Rondo. Look at the meticulous lob to Tyson Chandler. Maz began the game on a 14-2 run. The Lakers weathered the early barrage, and when Nick Young finds Carlos Boozer boozer for the inside hoop and foul. The Lakers trailed by just 5. A week ago, the Mavs gave up 3 players and a slew of draft picks for Rondo, but you can see why. He also enjoys a friendly bounce. The Mavs are finishing off a win over the Lakers. There you go, 101-96. On to Detroit. Rutgers quarterback Gary Nova honored a pair of NYPD officers killed in an ambush last weekend, and Nova did both proud. Just over 2 minutes into the game, Nova fires a dart to Andre Patton, and Patton is history, a 34-yard connection. Scarlet Knights led 23-zip at the half, and Nova's encore and dagger came in the third quarter. Nova throws an outstanding pass to Andrew Terzilli. Rutgers, also pounded the heels for 340 yards on the ground. Rutgers takes the Quick Lane Bowl, and 40-21 is the final on this one. Meantime, further proof the long-term effects of concussions are having a serious impact on football. West Virginia quarterback Clint Trickett is retiring just days shy of his bowl game with Texas A&M after suffering 5 concussions over the past 14 months. His final injury came a month ago against Kansas State. Trickett plans on pursuing a career in coaching. During his final season, Trickett threw for nearly 3,300 yards and 18 touchdowns. Finally, we are less than a week away from the first ever college football playoffs. You can catch both semifinal games on ESPN and watch ESPN app on New Year's Day. Oregon takes on Florida State in the Rose Bowl at 2 p.m. Then at 5:30 p.m. it's the Sugar Bowl featuring Alabama and Ohio State. The winners will move on to the national championship game on January 12th at the house that Jerry Jones built. That would be Cowboy Stadium. That game is also on ESPN, and watch the ESPN app.
There is a new way to get around town, and they're battery-powered skates called rocket skates. As Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride explains, they may take a little practice to get the hang of.
At the Rose Bowl, you'll see the occasional lone wolf cruising by on 8 wheels. The skates of the 90s still provide a good workout, but there's a new motorized, wearable mode of transportation for your feet.
You're going to be doing a little bit of walking, a little bit of skating, and you'll get where you need to go with a little bit of style.
Peter Treadway is the creator of rocket skates. They're motorized and powered by a battery pack on the back of each skate.
The 2 skates, they talk to each other wirelessly and are configurable through your phone. We have an app which also connects to social media, to other friends with skates, and to us.
As someone who grew up ice skating and who's still inline skates, I had to test the rocket skates out for myself.
I'm actually kind of nervous to do this.
And just remember that your right foot is controlling both skates.
For the motor to kick in, you need to start rolling, keeping one foot in front of the other. Your toes are up off the ground, and the ball of your right foot acts like the gas pedal.
All right, it took me a little bit, but now we've got it. Another week and I'll have my double axle nailed.
The skates range in price from $500 to $700. You can adjust the speed starting in beginner mode and go up to about 12 miles per hour. Once you get the hang of it, you can scoot around with ease.
It's pretty exhilarating going even 8 miles an hour, so it's an exciting experience.
If you're an old school skater who wants to work up a sweat, don't ditch your inline skates. Treadway says his wheels are geared toward getting around a college campus or over to your neighborhood coffee shop. A fun and unique way to motor at your own pace. In Altadena, Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
It looks like fun.
Yeah,
a little scary, but yeah, fun.
Wear a helmet for sure.
Definitely. More news straight ahead here at 7:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. More on our breaking news. New clues about a suspect wanted for a deadly stabbing or blunt force trauma in an upscale Laverne neighborhood. We are live with investigators at 11. Plus, country music icon Garth Brooks sits down with our George Pinocchio to talk about his new album and whether LA is included in his 2015 tour plans. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
A Salinas woman gets an incredible Christmas gift, nearly 3 decades in the making. Linda Alsop's 1967 Mustang was stolen back in 1986, less than a year after she got it. Now, 28 years later, it's been found and returned to her. The CHP says a new owner had recently bought the classic, but when a trooper conducted a VIN inspection, he noticed something wasn't right. He then traced the car back to Linda, who held onto her plates all this time.
Kept my plates. I don't want to say I gave up hope, but I did give up hope. It was just a wonderful memento to have from having your first car, but you know, now actually having my first car back, it's a phenomenal feeling. It's like winning the lottery.
Also says it's bittersweet because it reminds her of her father. What a great car.
All right, we'll see you later.